I acquired a large magic mushroom from a former housemate in Mexico City before he returned to the United States. He bought it for 1,500 pesos from a market vendor who wore a hat in the shape of a mushroom. Since he couldn't take it on the plane, and he couldn't find anyone to buy it from him at a discount, he gave this ticket to Jupiter to me. The following weekend, my friends and I decided to have a psychedelic group experience in Chapultepec Park. Since I had some experience with magic mushrooms before, I felt comfortable with a higher dose. Everyone else had 1.5 grams inside a piece of chocolate. I added my 3.6 grams to a smoothie with banana, kale, blueberries, and some Greek yogurt. It took less than 30 minutes for the effects to kick in. We were still walking through the Mexico City traffic, and I was beginning to lose coordination. A friend held me steady until we reached the park entrance. I spread my blanket under the shade of a tree and held on for dear life for the next 6 hours. The tree and I became very well acquainted as the journey into my own mind progressed. Conversation went along the lines of, "Hello, you look worried. Are you okay?" "I'm not sure. I think I'm having trouble breathing." "Breathing? What's that?" "What? You don't know what breathing is?" "I'm a tree. I don't breathe, eat, drink, sleep, or excrete." "Well, that sounds nice and simple. Makes life easier." "Isn't your life easy?" "I guess it is. I don't have a family to feed. I travel a lot. My only responsibility is to myself, really." "What's a responsibility?" "It's something you do, like make money to buy food or pay for housing." "Oh, I don't have those. I make my own food, and I don't need a house." "But someone could cut you down to build a house. They could end your life, and you can't do anything about it." "You're right. But someone could end your life too. The difference is you would care. I wouldn't. I don't have feelings. I'm at peace for the entire duration of my existence, no matter how long or short it may be." "Well, I can't be passive like you. I want to be a writer. I want to travel the world. I don't want to be rooted to the ground like you." What an exhausting way to live. You do realize no matter your accomplishments, you'll still wither away like the rest. "I feel like I'm withering away right now. I can't move." "So? I don't move either, and I'm perfectly content." "I hope lying under your shade is enough to protect my skin from the sun." "Why do you need to protect your skin?" "Because I want to stay beautiful for as long as I can." "Why?" "Because I want to find love someday, and being beautiful helps. You need to be a bunch of other things too." "Love? Why do you need that?" "Well, I suppose I don't need it, but I do want it." "It's really much better to not want anything. You could just stay here." "You mean move to Mexico City permanently?" "No, I mean right here, lying down in the park." "I can't stay here after dark. It's dangerous. I could get robbed, kidnapped, murdered." "You're missing the point. What does it matter if it's dangerous? You'll die, but you'll die anyways." "My parents would be so sad if I died so early." "What are parents?" "Oh, forget it. You don't understand." "Oh, I understand, and I pity you. You feel things I don't. Your cares actually cause you distress. Look at me, I don't care about anything." "You're a tree. I'm a human. I have to care about something." While the tree and I had our debate, my friends were having a normal Saturday in the park. Some of them felt nothing at all from their comparatively low psilocybin dose. I was self-conscious they might be judging me in my altered state. It was late afternoon when the effects completely wore off. Most of the group left to go out to eat. The Americans were craving bad Chinese food, and the Mexicans didn't understand the concept, so everyone went to satisfy their curiosity. I passed because I only ate good Chinese food. A friend of a friend walked me home. She was a lawyer, born and raised in Mexico City, and in a long-term open relationship with a man she's known since childhood. I asked her if it was challenging, and she replied sometimes there were moments that were difficult to handle, but she couldn't imagine life without him. We were already far away from the park, but I could hear the tree roaring with laughter at us humans, mocking our inexplicable drive to make life complicated. She dropped me off in front of my house, and I crawled into the soothing cocoon of my bed. My head hurt. I was dehydrated. I drank 2 large glasses of water and went back to bed, chuckling to myself that the need for water was the one thing the tree and I agreed on. When I was a child, I made a list of the things I wanted: an apartment in Manhattan, a successful career, married by the time I was 25, 26. I even had specific items of clothing and pieces of furniture I wanted to own, right down to the design of my bed frame and the color of my sheets. I did live in Manhattan for 8 years to be exact. I had a successful career that took me around the world, and I had a man in my life who ticked off all the boxes. It's been many years since I made that list. I've traveled to and even lived in several countries. I've had quite a few careers. Nowadays, I can fit all my clothes and necessities into a backpack and a carry-on suitcase. I don't even have a permanent address anymore, let alone furniture. Even though I'm always open to finding love, getting married is no longer a priority. I recently finished rereading Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. I first read it back in high school because it was on the required reading list. High school curriculums are treasure troves of novels offering wisdom and insight, but the irony is that teenagers are often at a stage in life where they lack the real-world context to fully appreciate them. Hermann Hesse's masterpiece explores profound themes of self-discovery and enlightenment. In my teenage years, with the world still fresh and experiences limited, Siddhartha's journey was too abstract. As an adult, I now possess the context to grasp this disillusionment with materialism, the fleeting nature of pleasure, and the yearning for a deeper understanding of life. I left my New York City life and moved to Vietnam to be an English teacher, do some traveling in Southeast Asia, and take some time to resuscitate my creativity. I met an English woman there named Lucy. She got married in her 20s, bought a house with her husband, and built a successful career, always with the hope that she will travel the world someday. Now in her mid-30s, she decided not to wait any longer. She was still happily married, but didn't want to wake up one day at age 60 and still be waiting. Lucy and her husband decided to do long distance for a while. She returned to her life in England a year and a half later, satisfied and no longer waiting. I wish I'd documented my travels through Asia in more detail. I was still in my 20s and working on a novel while working as an English teacher in Vietnam. It was my first original work, 300 pages and a rather melodramatic storyline, with flowery prose that tried too hard to imitate my literary heroes. I spent over 2 years working diligently to finish it, only to have it rejected by all traditional publishing houses because it didn't fit into a specific genre. Also, it probably just wasn't very good. I immediately began writing a second novel. This time I abandoned the flowery prose and adopted a more minimalist style of writing. I stopped after a couple of months because I didn't want to spend another 2 years laboring over a project that depended on gatekeepers to be shared with the public, which is why I'm using the audio-visual medium, accessible to anyone who cares to listen. Hopefully I can comfort, inspire, or at the very least entertain you, whoever you are, as I go about the rest of my journey through Latin America and the rest of the world afterwards. My childhood self would be surprised to learn how content her adult self would be, having none of the things on that list she made with such meticulous detail. In fact, when I blew out the candles on my last birthday cake, I simply wished that everything would be okay. Traveling long-term with unstable income can be stressful. Find out how I manage the financial ups and downs in this video, where I meet some wealthy housemates and experience a hint of jealousy.